In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do the snowman family. This is Mom and Pop, and they're both exactly the same pattern, just decorated differently. Let's begin right after this. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to make a snowman family. We're going to do the adult size. Both Mom and Pop are the same size pattern and we just have to decorate them different. You should know that there's buttons for eyes and the nose, and then there's just a little bit of sewing work for the arms. If you wish to do something else slightly different, that's up to you. The instructions are really straightforward. We've already done the baby size or the child size version that you see here, and we've already done this in tutorial format, so I'm just copying the instructions, basically going for the large. So where we had it highlighted, this was the smaller size in order to make the child size that you see here. But then what we're going to do in this one is that we're going to continue the instructions for up here in here, and we're going to then make this the bigger version in order to complete. So this is really quite easy. Today's tutorial you're going to, it's suggesting to use Bernat Handicrafter Holidays. You can use Karen Simply Saw Party. It's got sparkle to it. I'm going to be using the Handicrafter blue version right now because I have a white background. You'll never see me crocheting if I use white. You're going to need some buttons and some fabric in order to make a scarf. Also, don't forget you might need some stuffing. Well, not might, you will need some stuffing in order to complete this. So let's begin and talk a little bit more about the pattern, and then we'll get on to the tutorial. So here's a copy of the pattern. We're just gonna simply go down, and it says to make 2 for the large because it's Mom and Pop, and where I have it highlighted, this is a small version if you're doing the small one. Okay, we have a tutorial available on that, and we're just gonna carry on continuously through here and up here in order to make it, and this is also part of the large. So the snowman only takes a portion of the large piece section in order to make it smaller, just like you see in the photo. So this one's gonna be bigger, and then we can have some fun with that. So without further ado, today you're going to need a 4mm or a size 3.75mm size F crochet hook today. I don't have that in stock, so I'm substituting for a 4mm size G. So let's start off with the slip knot. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be switching out the instructions for joining every time we're finishing a round. I'm going to do a continuous round. This will eliminate any of the slip stitching that you would see. So this is an alteration that I would have. You're going to need a stitch marker or a spare piece of yarn just like so in order to make this happen. So let's begin. We're going to start off by chaining 2, so 1 and 2, and what we want to do for round number 1, we want to put 6 single crochets, second chain for the hook, which is the starting. So here's where I'm going to show you at the end for changing. So we have 1, and it's gonna go in a round circle, 2, we have 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now as I promised you, I'm gonna deviate from the instructions, so this is what I want you to change. So in the bottom of this stitch right here, just slip underneath, grab your place marker or your stitch marker and just pull a portion of it through, and this will indicate to you next time you round which one is the end. Okay, so just pull everything tight. So when we go to start the next round, what we're gonna do is that we're immediately going to jump on top of the next stitch. So just visualize the snail's back. So we're just gonna go in a continuous revolution, so we never have to do any kind of slip stitching and you'll never see it. So round number 2, we're immediately going to jump all the way over to here. Okay, so just go to the first one. If you're not sure, you should be able to see 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is right underneath. So then that one that starts off with the 6 is that's where we're gonna begin. So we're going to put in 2 single crochets into each one of these stitches going all the way around. Okay, so 1 and 2, and then the next one just 1 and 2, the next one is 1 and 2. Always getting started is a little tight, and the next one 1 and 2, next one is 1 and 2. Now the very final stitch that you see here, this is with the stitch marker, that's the final one of this revolution, and you're gonna still put in 2 there, and on the second one that's where you're gonna move the stitch marker up. So go in to the base, grab that stitch marker and just pull through. Okay, so that stitch marker is just gonna follow you all the way through, and that was round number 2. In round number 3, again, because I'm substituting instructions, you're not gonna chain 1 first, is that you're just gonna do 1 single crochet into the first one, and the next one will have 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Whoops, that was 2. And then the next one is gonna be 1, and then the next one is gonna have 2 in there. So 1 and 2. Continue that same pattern going all the way around. So 1 into one and then 2 into the next, and keep alternating like that all the way around. If your math is right, even if you're doing the slip stitching technique that they're telling you, the very final stitch will have 2 single crochets in it. And once you get there, please move up your stitch marker if you're doing it my way, and just pull through underneath like so. And that concludes off round number 3. So let's keep on going for round number 4. So round number 4, so again, I'm not doing the chain 1 because of the way that I'm doing it, but you'll do that if you're doing the slip stitching technique. So for this one, the round, the first 2 are going to be by themselves. So 1, and then the next one is gonna be 1, and then the next one is gonna have 2 in it. So that's your repeat pattern for this whole round. Let me review that one more time. The next one is gonna be by itself, and the next one, so 2 by themselves, and then the next one has 2 in it. Continue to do that all the way around, and that's round number 4. Now that we're done number 4, we have to do it 2 more times, and it says continue in this manner. Now continue in this manner means that you see how that we've gone from 1 single crochet, and then the next one is 2 single crochets. The next one is 1 single crochet, and the next 2 single crochets in the next. So to continue in this manner, the next row would be 1 single crochet in the next 3 single crochets, and then 2 in the next. Okay, and then the next one after that would be 1 single crochet in the next 4 single crochets, and then 2 in the next. And that's what continuous in this manner means. Let's begin to do the first one. So let's continue in this manner as what it says. So the next 3 are gonna be by itself. So 1, 2, and 3, and then the next one is 2 into the same one. Okay, so the next 3 are by themselves. So 1, 2, and 3, and then the next one is 2. Continue to do that all the way around, and that's one of the 2 in the continuous manner. I know I'm doing it right at the end, as if the last one should be 2 into the last one to keep it in the same balance. Okay, so I'm keeping the right counts. So let's move up that stitch marker, and we're gonna continue the second part of continuous in the same manner. So to start that one, this time there's going to be 4 single crochets before doing 2 into the same one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the next one is 2 into the same one. Okay, so you can see it's equally growing. So again, so that's the 4 are gonna be by themselves. This is already 1 and 2. This is number 3 and number 4, and the next one is 2 into the same one. Continue to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you, and we're gonna carry on in part of the instructions as well. So I'm continuing around, and I'm keeping the right counts. The final one here is going to be 2 single crochets because I'm keeping the right count. So what I need you to do at this point is that we need to place a stitch marker in a different color other than what you have, and this is gonna indicate us a measuring point at some point in the project, which is right here. So we're just gonna stick it into that same stitch, and we just want to keep an eye on it because we're gonna use this as a measuring gauge in the future, and it'll make sense in just a moment actually. So let's just attach this. You don't want to tie it on, you just want to kind of loosely put it on, just enough that it won't fall out, and that you can keep an eye on it just like that. So what I want you to do, insert your hook back in, and let's refer to the instructions because this is the part where I can leave you for a bit and then you can get the rest done really quickly. So let's begin to do that next. So in the next part of this, what we just need to do is 1 single crochet into each all the way around, and we keep going around and around and around if you're doing it my way, and we need to get 5 inches of going all the way around and around and around before we can stop going all the way around and around and continue to the next part of the instructions. So it's just like the smaller one. Let me show you what we've done. Is that this is the base at this moment, and what we're going to do is that from a certain point where we've marked all the way to the top is going to be the section of the middle of the snowman. Okay, so it's like a pill shape. Remember in the small one this is just pulled in tighter. So all we're just going to do at this point is continue to go round and around so that we can get all the whole shape going. So please just do single crochets all the way around and around until you get 5 inches, and then when we come back I will show you and we'll start doing the decrease in the top of the head and add some stuffing at the same time. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. When I last left you I said that we need to get 5 inches done, and now 5 inches are done, and let's move on to the next part of this pattern and let's review that quickly. So let's carry on in the project. We already have 5 inches done and we're ready then for these 2 rows, and then if you've done the small one already you've already know how to do this section, but we're gonna cover that in today's video as well. And then we're going to make a neck area, and then the finishing techniques that you see with the characters with button eyes and nose and the scarf is something that you can do on your own. You can just look at the photo. The arms are just like stitch work just put into the side. Again, you could just mimic it or just do something different, or you don't need arms. It's up to you and it's your creativity. So let's begin starting this round, and we're gonna start doing a decrease in order to pull it together because we're at the top of the adult snowman's head. So let's begin the next round. So if you're not doing the slip stitching like I'm not, because you won't have any slip stitching marks, then you can just carry on as normal. So we're going to then start 1 single crochet in the next 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then the next 2 are together. So round just like so. Okay, let me, oh I should show that. So let's do the next 4 together. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so to do it 2 together you stick your hook in, pull through, stick your hook in again and pull through. Okay, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's how you do a decrease. Let me show you one more time. So the next 4 by themselves, 2, 3 and 4, and the next 2 are together. So in, pull through and hold, go into the next one, pull through and hold, and then pull through all 3. Continue to do that all the way to the stitch marker, and I'll see you back there and we'll carry on for the next round. So I'm coming up all the way around to the stitch marker. So I'm just, here's 4 by themselves. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if you've done it right the last stitch marker will be the one that is the final of doing 2 together. Okay, let's move up that stitch marker and we're gonna go for the next round, and then we're gonna start doing some stuffing and then carry on to the rest of the head coming to a close. So in this round we're going to then start off, and the first 3 are going to be by themselves. So 1, 2 and 3, and then the next 2 are together. So that's the repeat pattern for this round. So 1 is by itself, 2 is by itself, 3 is by itself, and the next 2 are together. Carry on for that same pattern all the way to the stitch marker once again. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and the final 2 are 2 together. Okay, and I'm keeping in balance with the stitching. So now we're gonna carry on, and we have to do some stuffing first. So let's pull a large loop. Let's grab some stuffing and let's begin to stuff the pockets. We're gonna get smaller and smaller at this point, and let's do that now. To do stuffing is just a matter of grabbing your stuffing to go through. You can go to a craft store and pick that up if you wish, and you just stuff it. So you want to get it somewhat firm, but you don't want it to get to the point the stitches are expanding. So you want to just be careful. If you overstuff this thing it's gonna cause the stitch work to open up, and if you don't stuff it enough you'll have a very limp snowman. So let's continue to stuff, and I will be back and we'll carry on for the rest of the remainder. We only have 3 more rounds to go before we're done. So I now have my stuffing in place, and I got 3 more rounds. So you can see I can continue to stuff more. The way that it ends you end up with a little hole that you can put more into it if you want to. Again, you don't want to make it expand to the point where it's not gonna work. So let's carry on in the instructions. So we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2. So we're just making it smaller, and then the next one are 2 together. And so that's your repeat patterning for this one here, and if you don't drop a stitch then it goes faster. Okay, so let's review that one more time. So the next 2 are by themselves. So 1 and 2, and the next 2 are together. Carry on and do that same thing going all the way around, and I'll meet you at the stitch marker. I'm coming up all the way back around, and the final 2 are 2 together, and I haven't done anything special. It's just a matter of keeping count. So let's move up that stitch marker one more time, and I'm not gonna put any more stuffing in it. I think I'm actually okay for that for now. So let's carry on for the next round. This is the second last round. So this time what we're going to do is that 1 is gonna be by itself. So, and then the next two are together. 1 and 2. The next one is 1, and the next one are 1 and 2 together. So okay, carry on, do that same thing all the way back to the stitch marker. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I'm done that already. So the last round is that it's 2 together every 2 around. Okay, so there's no single crochets by themselves. Do that all the way around and you're gonna end up with a little tiny hole left on the top, and the tiny hole then we're going to sew shut, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I'm gonna show you how to make the neck area. So you can see it's kinda like a pill shape. So it's like a thing. And so once you get all the way back around just like we are now, I'm going to cut the string and I'm going to make that into a sewing string to sew it all shut. And let's pull that up, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So I'm going to just pull this stitch marker out. Okay, so now once you just give it a few stretches, you won't have any slip stitching here, and now it's just a matter of getting. So if you need extra stuffing, now's the time to do it. What you will notice on these projects is that when you go to do a decrease, it never looks as nice as the increase. So what I would do, even for the small one that I did, is that the nice start that we had is the head, and then I left the one where we did the decrease on the bottom. So that's kind of how it looks, just like so. So let's begin, and I'll show you how to close that. So what I want you to do is grab a darning needle, and I want you to insert your yarn in, and I want you to just start closing this. So just go directly across and pull, and then go across, making sure you're grabbing your stitches of course, and pull it nice and shut. And once you think you got it shut enough, I'm gonna make this the base of the snowman. Just do a quick tie into it, and once you have it tied in a way that you think is good, okay, what I would do then is take the end and just go through the project and out somewhere else, just like this, and that you can trim there, and the straggler, the loose end, will fall into the inside of the character, so you don't ever have to worry about that. So we have to create the neck, and when we create the neck we had to measure up so many inches in order to get to the right size neck. So I think it was like 3 inches from what we have. So you want to come up 3 inches. But what I would suggest to you is that, because I want to make this side the top because it's nicer, what I would do is that I would flip this around. So just kind of look at it, okay, and just see how far it is away from the top. So I'm just gonna put my thumb here. It's about 2 inches from the top. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to then change my mind, and instead of making the top this side here, I would turn it around. So take out the stitch marker, and again this is using your own creativity, is that you would just kind of just look at it here and turn it upside down so the good side is on top, and just kind of go 3 inches, and it's about there. So I'm gonna put a stitch marker just to represent that spot, and I'm gonna show you how to make the neck area, and it's just a matter of getting some yarn in there. So let me show you how to do the neck. So to do neck, leave an extra long tail just like so on the one side of your project and create a slip knot. Okay, so leave an extra long tail, okay, and the other side you're going to feed that into an eye of a darning needle. And it will make sense why I'm asking you to leave that extra long tail on the other side. Something I kind of messed up on I didn't mess up, but it's kind of a convenient tip. So what I want to do is that I want to trace this idea of where we are. So I'm just coming into a different spot but on the same level. So I'm gonna continue to pull it until I get to the slip knot, and then feed the yarn into the slip knot, and it will pull it nice and tight in. So what I want to do is that I just want to go in and out of a few of these stitches at the same height. Just follow the rows around. Because I have done it in a continuous revolution, it's going to, when I come back around, it's like a record. It'll be at a different height. So near to the end we have to kind of jump up the record. And I'll show you that in just a moment, what exactly I mean by that. So I'm just continuing to go around. And what we're gonna do is like a clothesline idea of just pulling everything nice and tight. We've done this, you can do this on top of hats too. So what I want to do, see on this level I'm down here, but here I'm up. So at some point I have to make sure I come down to the same level to keep it in balance. This is gonna be underneath the scarf anyway, so you really won't see it. and come back to the start. So once you're satisfied with that, what you have to just do is just tug on it and it will pull everything nice and tight in. So just use your hands and pull it tight. Okay, and this will create the neck area. And what I did for the small one is that I just went around with the string and I'm going to tie it. So I'm just gonna pull it. And this is gonna be underneath the scarf anyway, so you're not gonna see it. Okay, and I'm just gonna tie it nice and tight knot here. And once I'm satisfied with that, I'm just gonna put my hook in, or my yarn needle in, and come out through a different project area, and the strand will be peeking out. And then I'm gonna grab the starting strand that I left a yarn tail with, and I'm going to put that into the eye of the needle. And I'm gonna just feed it into the project and out somewhere else. So this allows me to hide in these loose ends without ever having it pop out from underneath the scarf. So once you have them in, when you do trim them, it'll relax, but the strand will fall to the inside of the character, and that will happen for both. And so therefore you have a nice subtle neck, and all you're just gonna have to do at this point with the project is that you just have to use your buttons for the eyes and the nose. Just create some fabric for a little scarf if you wish. You can just sew on some arms if you wish that to happen. For the sewing for the buttons and the nose, you can just use a glue gun if you want to as well. Even for the scarf, you can just like tack it with some glue and it'd be good to go. And these are the basic formations for being able to do the snow characters. And as you see, this is the bottom for both, and you see the top looks a lot nicer. So therefore you have mom and pop as far as the mom and pop, or even the child's version of the snow family. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Enjoy your new little family. These make for great little setups in your house for the holiday season. Until then, we'll see you. Have a great day.